What's going on, everybody? I'm back again because it's another topic I must touch about that bothers the hell out of me. I want to talk about this man right here, Stephen A Snitch. He recently said something the other day that is still stuck with me a couple days after, because he's still constantly pushing something on television. He stated that due to the C-19, he was hospitalized. But that donut shot saved him from dying. It saved his life.
Woke up with chills and pool of sweat. Headaches were massive, coughing profusely. And it got to a point that right before New Year's Eve, I was in a hospital New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. That's how I brought in the new year. And they told me, had I not been vaccinated, I wouldn't be here.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to ever go through that. I've heard what it does to people, and I'm happy the man is still breathing and still alive. But that's not the point where I'm going at today. This man has constantly, over and over and over, last 3 months, go at Kyrie Irving. That's this guy right here. And it bothers me how he was so worried about Kyrie not taking the donut and tried to talk about how he was not being there for his teammates, letting Kevin Durant down, and other reasons. And throughout this whole thing, Kyrie Irving not once caught that C-19. But Stephen A has, and he's been the biggest advocate about people, and especially athletes, getting it done to them. The donut. Now, I'm glad Kyrie has not done it, because as a man, he should be able to stand on his own 2 feet and stand behind what he believes, especially in America. See, people get sports mixed up with humanity. People don't forget being NBA players, NFL players, golf players, all these sports is a job. It's not their way of life. And if you confuse the two and try to make it a way of life, you lose yourself in that alone. So I am glad as a man that he is going against the grain and standing by his own words. And I feel like it bothers Stephen A lot that there's people in the NBA, there's people in the sports world that can't just be controlled that easy. This is why I feel like it took him this long to continue trying to advocate and go at this man to make it seem like he's wrong for standing in what he believes in. And this reminds me of what I think ESPN does to a lot of people, allegedly. If they cannot control you, or you're doing something that can possibly change the way young men and people think and react and move, they find a way to pinpoint everything towards you to try to bring you down And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but a lot of times it doesn't work. And I don't mean to bring his brother's name into it because honestly, I love everything he does. But this is exactly what it reminds me of when it comes to Kwame Brown, who's also had an issue. For some reason, Stephen A can't keep his name out of his mouth for the last 2 decades or some shit. This man was the first Black high school student drafted #1. See, people don't realize that alone, no matter how many points the man scored or not, because Ben Wallace is in the Hall of Fame, and Ben Wallace averaged probably 2 points a fucking game. But his defense made a presence. So the NBA ain't all about scoring, it's about what you contribute to the team. But I don't want to go that route right now. The fact is, Kwame was the first Black dude to do it. And because of that, they tried to stop it. Because it would have told a lot of young men then, no matter where you come from, no matter what situation you're in, if you bust your ass to get out of it, you can also be a #1 draft pick coming out of high school. And that would take money out of the college's pockets. The colleges don't want to hear that. Wherever they go, if they don't have their Black athletes, they don't have these #1 picks to bring money to their school, they don't like it. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to pick on Kwame Brown. Just for the fact that we don't want other kids thinking that they can do the same thing that he has accomplished in that field. Going from high school to the NBA from the hood. So when other kids see that, they tell themselves the same thing. You know what? If I bust my ass now and keep doing what I'm doing, I can get into the NBA as well and not have to worry about going to college and go straight from the hood or whatever area they're living at to the NBA and to be able to take care of their family from that point on without having to wait the extra 1 to 4 years. That's neither here or there, but I feel like they're doing the same exact shit to Kyrie Irving now because it's somebody else who's going against the grain. This is a superstar player whose box office that the NBA knows that they need him to be on the floor in order for them to make their money. This is why they're cracking now and that Kyrie is able to play now and to the point where the Nets can offer to pay the $5,000 fine for him to even play the home games. The NBA said no. And they sent in their bloodhound, Stephen A, to do the work for them because they don't want to be on Front Street. And for the fact that he must have really got paid to continue to advocate everybody getting the donut shot. Because he does not even need to say that on the air that he advocates people to still get it. All you have to do is say, for my protection, I got it. I felt like that was right for me to do. That was my decision. I don't feel like I should force anybody else to want to make that decision, but that's something I did for me and my family, and the doctors told me it saved my life. That's all that needed to be said. But the fact that you're still trying to advocate this because you got on Andrew Wiggins' ass, Stephen A Snitch, you got on Andrew Wiggins' ass about not having a donut shot and he should be traded and all his money should go on. You quick to take money out of the man's pockets. But you spent maybe 15 minutes snapping about Aaron Rodgers, if anybody out there pays attention to that. Aaron Rodgers did some of the most grimiest shit you could ever fucking do. It's a teammate thing. But yet, he was smooth when he did it, though. You considered a liar, and that was it. It was dropped. They ain't never heard about that yet since. But every day you continue to bring this man Kyrie up. And even now, to the point where he's still playing, and he's playing half the games, and his team is fine with him playing half the games, you still finding a problem that if they win the championship, it's not good for basketball.
Cleveland fellas, stay with me, where the Nets were playing with Kyrie Irving because Ohio doesn't have the same vaccine requirements as New York. Kyrie scored 27 in the loss as the Nets didn't have KD, who our own Adrian Wojnarowski says is expected to be out for 4 to 6 weeks with a sprained MCL. Despite Durant slated to miss some time, Kyrie says he's sticking to his decision to stay unvaxxed.
Kev's gonna heal. Kev's gonna be okay, you know, and we're gonna have to deal with that as his teammates. But in terms of where I am with my life outside of this, I stay rooted in my decision, and that's just what it is. I respect everyone else's decision. I'm not gonna ever try to convince anyone of anything or any of that. I just am standing rooted in what I believe in. And though we're dealing with this right now with Kev, I just know that I'm protected by the organization. I'm protected by my teammates. I'm protected by all the doctors I've talked to. And, you know, I just stand rooted.
Okay, so Kyrie sticking to the courage of his convictions there. Big Perk, always good to see you gracing our screen. I want to start with you and tell me this, Perk. Do you think it would be bad for the NBA, with all the off-season drama that went along with Kyrie, if he won the chip?
No, I don't. Because here's the thing. If guys around the NBA are going to allow the Brooklyn Nets to actually go out there and win a championship with a part-time Kyrie, then shame on them. But no, I don't think it's a bad look, for the simple fact that the game of basketball they want Kyrie Irving. We saw when he returned how many people, his peers and others, reacted. Look, this man, Stephen A., you know this, Molly, you know this, he's a showstopper. Yeah. And look, he is who he is. He's not changing his mind for his vaccination status. And I actually applaud the Brooklyn Nets, because they know if they have any chance at winning the championship, they're going to have Kyrie. Again, I repeat, I'd rather a part-time Kyrie than a no-time Kyrie.
Well, we differ there. I respect where you're coming from, KP, and it's not really a debate or a disagreement. It's just where my preference lies. I think, I'm Knicks first, New York always. That's my mentality. So if it ain't the Knicks, it's the Brooklyn Nets. I think it would having said that, I think it would be a disaster if the Brooklyn Nets won the championship for the game of basketball. I really do. And the reason why I feel that way is because of liberties Kyrie Irving has taken in the past before there was even a vaccine issue. Remember, this is the dude that needed time off when the riots at the U.S. Capitol took place, because mentally he just wasn't there and he could walk away from the game of basketball. Now it's the vaccine as an excuse not to be at the Barclays Center for people in Brooklyn to see this showstopper play. I am an advocate of Kyrie Irving from the standpoint, first of all, I respect his honesty and him staying true to his convictions. That's fair enough. And I'm one of those dudes who believes that Kyrie Irving is such a showstopper. He's so spectacular. If you wanted to pay him $50 million a year, I wouldn't care. He deserves it. But I would never sign him to a long-term deal again. He can't be trusted. I would sign him 1 year at a time for max dollars. But I wouldn't trust him with a long-term deal, because he has shown me when he knows that the money comes in, he will take liberties to take off when he wants to take off and to show up to work when he wants to show up to work. And my last point, KP, would be this. Hypothetically speaking, he's your teammate. And I know you respect where he's coming from because he stayed true to his convictions. Fair enough. You're in the finals. You got home court advantage. It's game 7. The chip is on the line. And you can't play because it's at the Barclays Center. And you refuse to take the vaccine. The players that are in Brooklyn are there because of you. I contend, no matter how much they deny it, they were going to go to the New York Knicks. It's Kyrie Irving that said, hell with that. Let's establish our own legacy in Brooklyn. You got sources. You know I'm telling the truth. They're there because of Kyrie Irving. Steve Nash is the coach because Kyrie Irving's like, we don't really need a coach. So you, Sean Marks, you go out there and hire a dude who's never been a coach on any level in his life to be your head coach. And major props to Steve Nash for the decent job that he's done, even though he struggled from time to time. My point is, this organization capitulated to the wishes of Kyrie Irving because Kevin Durant capitulated to the wishes of Kyrie Irving. And what if there's a game 7 at the Barclays Center and Kyrie don't play because he's unvaccinated when everybody there because of you? We gonna say the same thing then? I don't think so. I think it would be a disaster, and it sends the wrong message if the Brooklyn Nets were to win the chip because of that man.
And I'm pretty sure it's good for basketball if he wins. It's good for basketball if anybody fucking wins. It's sports. We're here to watch a game of basketball. We're not here to care who's getting vaccinated and who's not. See, a lot of the media keeps trying to push this because y'all want to show force that the NBA can control what's being done. And it's guys like Kyrie Irving who's not about to break over the game of basketball or over money because, as he stated, I am a man first. He's a man first, athlete second. But people have everyday jobs. You're always told to take care of yourself because the job can always replace you. So if Kyrie Irving was to get hurt or something was to happen to Kyrie, but he can't play in the NBA no more, you know what's going to happen? They're going to draft somebody else to take his spot. They're going to put another guard there to take his spot. A lot of times things can change if we try to change the world within what we can control. But you cannot change the world by force. So shout out to Kyrie. Keep doing whatever it is you're doing. Stand on your ground. I'm behind you. Because as a man, I have my own morals and my own thoughts also that I like to stand behind as well. And I encourage everybody to stand behind your own morals and stand on your 2 feet. Make decisions you feel like is right for you. You cannot make decisions for someone else. This is your boy Wayne's World. Talk galore. I'm out. Until next time, y'all be safe and take care of each other.